Ciao guys, welcome back to the ARTFUL podcast. It's Matteo, your host. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let's grow this art community together. And no further ado, let's go on with a new episode. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ARTFUL podcast. Matteo, your host here. As usual, every week I'm with you guys talking about art, bringing new episode of the ARTFUL podcast for you. In this new episode, we're gonna do news. It's an ARTFUL news episode, and today we're gonna talk about something a little bit tricky. And I would love to see your reaction about this news that came out a week ago, I think. We're gonna read the article and I'm gonna react with you. It's gonna be, I read a little bit, but I'm gonna read the full article the first time and I'm gonna react to it. I'm gonna give my opinions and let's see what comes out. And this is a tricky one because it involves a museum in Germany, involves race, involves rules about race, and it's gonna be a fun one to discuss and to see what we think about it. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about this, what you think about this, and share the video with everybody, and like the video. So let's go and read the news. So let's start reading the article. The article, as usual, I found it on Art News. We love ArtNet News. We love this website. And the headline is, a German museum is under police guard after receiving right-wing threats over its safe space for visitors. So what can we see from this headline? I read a little bit of the article. It's kind of the headline is kind of misleading because it seems like they're out of nowhere, right-wing people they're threatening this museum over safe space for visitors. And I think it's misleading because we're going to read the article and there is a reason per se why these right-wing people reacted like that. I don't think threatening anyone it's good. Obviously, they have no right to do that. But there was a weird dynamic that happened. We're gonna read the article, but for what I understood, there was the museum created a safe space. A German museum that was attempting to create a safe space for Black, Indigenous, and other ethnic groups that have suffered under colonialism and now under police guard in the city of Dortmund in response right-wing threats against the institution. This is curious to see why the right wing is threatening the institution. The LW Museum had assigned a specific time slot to be reserved for those audience members wishing to attempt the workshops. This is Colonial, set up to open today, September 18. The idea, according to the museum website, is that for 4 hours each Saturday, visitors affected by racism could visit but protected themselves from further, even unconscious, discrimination. The museum wanted to be considerate of people who are more affected by the topic of colonialism than others. The LWL director, Christine Baumann, said in a Facebook video. During the safe space on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., our white employees do not enter this building, the museum noted in a comment on the video. So, what's happening here? There is this museum that is having an exhibition about colonialism and is trying to create a safe space for Black, Indigenous, and ethnic groups that have suffered under colonialism. And so what does it mean that? We saw that even the staff is not allowed to work during this time slot because they are white. I mean, my first reaction is not this reverse racism? Like, are you not impeding somebody to enter a building or even to work because of the color of the skin? Um, Obviously, there's something to say. The exhibition is about colonialism, and it's only what 4 hours a week to create this safe space. So it's not why people are not allowed at all to enter this exhibition. It's not that. It's only a time slot during the week of 4 hours to create an even safer space for ethnic groups to enter the building and be surrounded by other ethnic groups. And yeah, just experience the exhibition about colonialism and maybe share freely what they think about without without being afraid of entering a space where there are white people, and even maybe no, they don't want to offend any white people that now are not involved in any sort of colonialism, and talking about white people and colonialism might offend somebody. So I see the value. I see the value of this safe space that the museum wants to create. I don't know. I have a icky reaction to it. I don't know. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. The article. So the limits on admission were to work on a trust basis. By but that didn't prevent a right-wing backlash against the idea. Two white men visit the museum last month, recording a video in which they confronted museum staff with accusation of discrimination against white people. The recording, which went viral on TikTok and was shared by Joanna Kotar, an independent German member of parliament who has previously part of the far-right Alternative for Germany party, sparked a flurry and threats against the institution, prompting local officials to dispatch a police guard for the duration of the show's run. It's on the admission. It's on a trust-based admission, which means obviously there is no way for people to see to demonstrate that they were victim of racism or they were victim of colonialism. And it kind of tells a little bit about the situation, because how can you tell? Just because I'm a black, just because I'm part of an ethnic group, 100%, I was affected by colonialism, and I was a victim of racism. Like, what does it say about that? This trust basis admissions. I mean, so you're just judging somebody that's black because of the color of skin, or somebody that's like an ethnic group because of the color of skin, they are victim of racism, 100%. That sounds a bit weird. So there are two white men visiting the museum, and they start recording this video, which obviously went viral because these things they always do. And obviously the institution, he says, they start getting threats against the institution. And I'm guessing against the staff and against who had this idea, I guess. I mean, that's never good. That's the stupidest thing that you can do. Creating more violence when you kind of proving the point why they needed to have a safe space, which makes sense. I'm not against this, obviously, this safe space. It's just, I don't know, it's just a bit weird. It's a bit cringy for me. Limited white people to enter space just because, and trusting ethnic groups just because they are from an ethnic group that they are victim of racism or whatever. I don't know. It just it's a weird. That's why I said before. It's a tricky situation, and I'm curious to see what you think, guys, about this. So let's carry on. What does it say here? The museum staff feels threatened, obviously. Barbara Ruskov-Partinger, head of the Regional Association of Westphalia Lippes Cultural Department, of which LWL, the museum, is a member, told to the Washington Post, "It is absolutely false that the museum is banning white visitors," and the TikTok post was heavily edited. She added, "Nothing that the employees in the video are suing for defamation, as they did not consent to be recorded." As a press time, as of press time, the museum had not responded to inquiries from ArtNet News, the website, but has denied allegation of racism against white people. I mean, obviously they're gonna do that. We are experimenting with this safe space idea and asking our visitors for 4 hours a week to refrain from visiting and leave the room to BIPOC visitors. What does it mean, BIPOC? We need to find out. BIPOC. BIPOC refers to Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, and aims to emphasize the historical oppression of Black, Indigenous people. Okay, and didn't know that. So the museum head of press and public relationship told Hyperallergic magazine, art magazine, "We cannot find this to be racism. People who experience racism do so 7 days a week." I mean, that's just a little bit of virtual signaling for me. It's pretty stupid to say something like that. Response from online audience has been mixed, with one commenter on the museum Facebook post about the initiative instigating that a request that separates people based on the color of the skin is definitely racism. Another user countered this viewpoint, writing that, "I'm really happy that they are finally more and more state-supported project and education about colonialism and racism." So the exhibition, this is Colonial. It's from September 18 till October 15. So it's going to be for almost a month in Dortmund, Germany. Dortmund, Germany. I can agree with one of the comments that was left by the post under the post on Facebook, that these kind of separate people is one of those things that separate people even more from each other just because of the color of the skin. But I understand the idea of this safe space, which can be a good thing. I don't know. I don't know. My reaction is definitely, I don't think it's racism, even though there is a power in play, power role in play, which is from the institution, which can dictate who comes in or who doesn't because of the color of the skin. So it's a bit weird. They said they didn't they don't do that. She was saying, who is she? Where is she? Barbara, the head of regional association. It's absolutely false that the museum is banning white people, white visitors, to enter. So what they were complaining about, who made this TikTok that went viral and they created all these threats against the institution? Were they discriminated? Like what really happened here? Because if they didn't and they just made everything up, that sucks. Like you're a horrible person. Like you creating even more hate against your side of your side, because it's like you create, like you just, if it's not true, if everything's false, you're a horrible person. You suck. But at the other side, if they are being denied to enter a building because there is this safe space happening. I don't know. I can see why somebody can be upset about that, because you are judging my intention by by the color of my skin, and there is no other way to see that. It's true. And I don't think it should ever happened. And yeah, I don't know. But as I said before, I do like the idea of this safe space, which from what, like, I understand what they mean by safe space, and they're free to experience the exhibition about colonialism without thinking about if there is any white person around them. I understand what they mean, but on that day they are not even allowing the staff, white people from their staff, to work. That seems a bit excessive. I do not agree with that. Obviously, I don't know. It's a weird even thing to think about. I don't know. They probably could have done it in a different way, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. So this is a colonialism exhibition in LWL Museum in Germany, and it seems to be more like it's like a no art base. Probably there is some like art, but it's more like historical events and dates and like facts from the picture that we can see. But I don't know. It's does not defeat the whole point. Like we need to teach white people that colonialism, it was a thing and destroyed many states in Africa, Australia, whatever. So I don't know. That does not defeat the whole point. Obviously, there is a week for them to go there, except these 4 hours, which okay. But then, if there is a rule in these 4 hours that you can not enter because you're white, that seems a bit weird for me. But no, it's interesting to think about it. I don't think there is a right wrong thing here. It's more about what you obviously kind of want to push and what agenda per se you want to push. Obviously, everything becomes political these days, which sucks. But yeah, that happened. That happened. Anyway, that's all for today. A quick one. I wanted to bring this up for you guys because I think it was interesting and it happened in a museum, which is even more interesting. But yeah, let me know what you think about this safe space. Is it a good thing? Is it not a good thing? Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching the Artful podcast. I'll see you next week. Love you all.